About 3 years ago, we started talking about the importance of painting sets. And I think we just touched on the subject. We didn't really continue. So I think we need to do a little bit of a refresher and then start to go into a little bit more depth on the subject. So the important point here is that painting sets represent 50% or more of all Himalayan and Tibetan scrollwork art. And so it's a very, very important topic, and it's to understand the subjects of the paintings, you really have to understand the nature of singles and sets. But there's actually a third topic here. I mean, we have to understand that painting sets are scroll work. So we're not talking about murals, and we're not talking about book illuminations. We're not talking about ula, the small drawings on pages. We're not talking about necessarily banners here either, although banners can be in sets. What we're just talking about is just regular paintings that are not attached to each other. They're paintings that belong together, but they're not sewn together with a string at the top as these banner paintings are. So we're talking about scrollwork, and for scrollwork paintings, there's actually three different real types or categories. And the first category is singles, where it's just a one-off painting. It's a painting that's commissioned, or it's a painting that's just simply purchased from a shop, and it's just by itself, a Shakyamuni Buddha, an Avalokiteshvara, something like that, or a teacher. Now, the second is sets. Sets means that they're created together and they have some common theme or subject. Now, this is different from a series of paintings. You can have a series of paintings done, but it can be all random topics that don't necessarily go together. It could be a Shakyamuni Buddha, a medicine Buddha, a white Tara, a green Tara, an Avalokiteshvara, a Tsongkhapa. They're all done in the same size. They're all done by the same atelier of artists, and then they're all mounted in the same brocade. So that basically is that's a series. And so a series is not the same as a set. A set of paintings are where there's some coherent theme of subject. Now, for these, we have really 5 topics. We have life story or narrative, and of course the earliest and most important one is Shakyamuni Buddha, and that can be his life story or the Jataka tales, the main famous 34, or it can be the 108 or 100 Avadana tales. But we can also have narratives in painting for other important teachers, where we can have a set of paintings. We can also have Manjushri, some narrative story where we have a set of paintings, or it can be even Maitreya. Now, the second of these important 5 subject types is lineage, and the lineage can be it can be pre-incarnations as well as the later incarnations. Such as the Karmapa. But with the Karmapa, you don't usually go with the pre-incarnations. But let's say you're looking at the Panchen Lama or Dalai Lama, then you always have a pre-incarnations as well. And the same with a set of, for example, the Situ Panchen of the Karmakagyu, the Kamsang lineage. Then you will have pre-incarnations in the lineage. Now, the third of the subject types is Tantric Cycles. Tantric Cycles would be something such as the principal mandalas of the Sarva Durgati Parishodhana Tantra, where you have quite a number of mandalas. So you would have this set of paintings done, or it would be the mandalas from the Manjushri Namasangiti, or the mandalas from a particular tantra, such as Chakrasambhara or He Vajra. So that's a tantric cycle. So you're not mixing up different tantric subjects. You're basing it on one group of literature. Next is compendiums. Compendiums are texts that are made up in India primarily, and then later in the Himalayan regions, Tibet, Mongolia. But the compendiums are sets of, are generally a book that is including many, many different tantric cycles together. So it might include like 10 Manjushris and 12 Avalokiteshvaras and 8 Taras and 4 Prajnaparamitas. And it's just laying out all of these different tantric deities. And then a set of paintings can be created for these, or one figure is chosen to be the central figure of each composition, and then the others are put as second figures around that single composition. But they're made into a set of some large number, because these compendiums often have, like the Vajravali would have maybe, the earliest might really be describing 27 mandalas, but then later versions have more than 35, and then you have the 100 sadhanas of Bari Lotsawa, and then so you have up to 100 different deities, or just short of that. Now the next is number sets. Number sets is quite easy to understand, because we have the Buddhas of the 3 times. So we have Shakyamuni, we have Dipamkara, and then we have Maitreya. So a set of 3 paintings would be created depicting these 3 figures. Or we have the 3 lords of the world, Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani. So you have a set of 3 paintings depicting each of these figures. And then, of course, they get much bigger and bigger depending on the number set. The 8 medicine Buddhas, and with including Prajnaparamita, so that's a 9 painting set. Then you have the 35 confession Buddhas with Shakyamuni as the main figure, and then you can have 35 paintings. And then you can have the 1,000 Buddhas of this age. So that's number sets. So this is not the end of it. We will continue on this topic and go and look at some specific examples. But painting sets are very, very important to understand. Just from an iconographic point of view, from a general art point of view, but also from the artist's point of view of how are the compositions created? How do you come up with the layout? Who does the actual creation and the invention of the different compositions for these different subject types for painting sets? So you can press the like button, you can subscribe, you can join HAR on Patreon, and you can go directly to the Himalayan Art Resources homepage and make a donation there. Thank you very much.